Salvete omnes. In the second video on our topic on Julius Caesar, we'll look at how he climbed the political ladder of the cursus honorum to eventually reach the top and serve as consul. The key questions you need to make notes on are: number 1, why was 69 BC an important year for Caesar? Note that there are 2 reasons. Number 2, what happened when Caesar was aedile? Number 3, how did Caesar get himself elected as Pontifex Maximus? Number 4, what dilemma was Caesar faced with at the end of his proprietorship? Number 5, what was the First Triumvirate and how did it help Caesar? And number 6, what did he do during his consulship? In 69 BC, at the age of 30, Caesar began his political career by being elected as quaestor, and he went to serve in Spain. However, that same year, Caesar faced personal loss, as both his influential Aunt Julia and his wife Cornelia passed away. Their funerals became public events, where Caesar delivered moving speeches which helped him to raise his public profile. By 65 BC, Caesar's ambition was on full display as he was elected as aedile. He seized this opportunity to organise extravagant games and spectacles in Rome, capturing the hearts of the people and skyrocketing his popularity. However, these lavish events came at a high cost, and Caesar relied heavily on loans from influential figures like Crassus. The year 63 BC marked a pivotal moment for Caesar as well. The prestigious position of Pontifex Maximus, the chief priest of Rome, became vacant upon the death of its holder. Typically, this position was reserved for elderly patricians, and they held it for life. However, Caesar was only 36 years old, and without having held the office of praetor, he boldly threw his hat into the ring. Through substantial bribery, Caesar emerged victorious. This triumph catapulted him further into the realm of Roman politics, but it also earned him the resentment of the aristocracy for his controversial tactics. Following his praetorship, Caesar embarked on his governorship, his proprietorship in Spain in 61 BC. As a propraetor, or a provincial governor, he achieved great success and even earned himself a triumph, a grand ceremonial parade for his accomplishments. However, when he sought to run for the position of consul, a conflict arose. To be considered as a candidate, Caesar had to return to Rome as a private citizen. This required the crossing of the Pomerium, which is the sacred boundary of Rome, the kind of outside of the city, and this meant that he had to relinquish his military command and the right to celebrate his triumph. Although he sought permission from the Senate to stand for election in absentia without returning to Rome, it was denied. Consequently, he made a last-minute entry into the city and forfeited his triumph. Around this time, the First Triumvirate was formed. This is a private political alliance among 3 ambitious men: Caesar, Crassus, and Pompey. Although Crassus and Pompey had their differences, as we'll see more in class, Caesar skillfully brought them together to challenge the optimates, that conservative political faction, and this resulted in Caesar getting elected as consul in 59 BC. So even though one of the optimates, a man named Bibulus, shared the consulship with Caesar, he employed intimidation and violence in order to overpower his opposition. So as consul, Caesar wasted no time in enacting laws that favoured the triumvirate's interests. However, these actions were done illegally, and it was only his consular imperium, or power, that shielded him from prosecution. Knowing that he would need to maintain power and influence in order to stay out of trouble, Caesar secured a pro-consulship in Gaul, modern Spain, which was a region ripe with opportunity and potential. This appointment would mark the beginning of a legendary chapter in Caesar's life, and as we'll see in the next section, Gaul would become the stage where he would showcase his military brilliance, expand Rome's borders, and ultimately pave the way for his destiny. So, please make sure that you have the following answers to these key questions written up as notes in your workbook. Number 1, why was 69 BC an important year for Caesar? Make sure you've got 2 reasons. Number 2, what happened when Caesar was aedile? Number 3, how did Caesar get himself elected as Pontifex Maximus? Number 4, what dilemma was Caesar faced with at the end of his proprietorship? Number 5, what was the First Triumvirate and how did it help Caesar? And number 6, what did he do with his consulship? Thanks, and I'll see you in class.